Assalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, my name is Rafli Rustam. I am English Department for semester. Di sini tujuan saya membuat video ini akan membahas definition and kind of phrase and clause. So, the first, every sentence is contract of a clause or phrase, but sometimes it can be tricky to tell the difference between phrase and a clause. Kayak setiap kalimat yang terdiri dari klasa dan frasa, tetapi terkadang sulit membedakan antara frasa dan klausa. Baik frasa maupun klausa yang mengandung kelompok dua kata atau lebih dan dapat membantu kita untuk membuat kalimat, tetapi keduanya memiliki peran yang berbeda untuk membantu kita dalam memahami perbedaan di antara keduanya, yaitu kita harus mendefinisikan keduanya secara individual maupun terlebih dahulu. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb. A phrase is a group of words, but it doesn't contain a subject and a verb. Clause adalah sekelompok kata yang mengandung subjek dan kata kerja, sedangkan frasa adalah sekelompok kata tetapi tidak mengandung subjek dan kata kerja. And next, I will give you one example of sentence that use both a phrase and clause. Like, wherever you go doesn't make sense on its own. It's not like complete talk, but I will follow. Contains both a subject and a verb. I and follow. It is complex talk and we don't need any words to understand the meaning of the sentence. Kinds of phrase and clause. There are 7 main types of phrase. 1. Noun phrase. A noun phrase functions just like a noun in a sentence, like the example, the pretty little flower are blossoming in my garden. And the second, verb phrase. A verb phrase contains a verb in its modal parts, just like a noun phrase. The example, like, I have been working non-stop today. The third, gerund phrase. A gerund phrase uses an ing verb as a noun. Example, I love swimming in the ocean. The fourth, participle phrase. A participle phrase works in a similar way to a gerund phrase. And the example is bracing herself for the jump, she took a deep breath. The 5, infinitive phrase. As you might guess, an infinitive phrase starts with the infinitive, the linking verb to I want to go to cinema later. And to understand phrase versus clause, you should read the teaching wiki. And the last, appositive phrase. Appositive phrase help you to clarify which noun you're talking about that. An appositive phrase is basically an appositive, but with more than one word. They help to more detail to noun. Like, my dinner tonight is spicy. Vegetable curry is going to delicious. Types of clauses. Clauses are the main of sentence. Without a clause, a sentence is just a group of words which don't have any meaning on their own. In the other words, it would just be phrases. Here are the main types of clauses. Independent clause or main clause. An independent clause is a complex sentence. It is just complex talk that makes sense on its own. It can also be called a main clause because it makes up the main part of the sentence, like I love chocolate chip cookies. Dependent clauses are often the reason why phrases and clauses get confused. Also known as subordinative clause, depend on the independent clause to make sentences. There are various types of dependent clause including like relative. A relative clause begins with a relative pronoun who, whom, whose, which, that. He knew instantly whose voice had called out to him. Noun. A noun clause acts like a noun within a clause. Unlike a noun phrase, it includes a subject and a verb. She was deeply moved by what she had watched. Adjective. An adjective clause acts like an adjective and it describes a noun by using a subject and verb. The dress that you bought for me first perfectly and adverbially. And adverbial. An adverbial clause modifies the verb a sentence and act like an adverb. They always start within a subordinative clause conjunction, like I walk my dog until she gets tired. A sentence is the largest of any language. This sentence is generally defined as a word or a group of words that expresses a truth idea by giving an assignment or orders, asking a question or explaining. The example, he is a good boy, or statement, is a good boy, question, where is nice weather, climbing. And next types of sentence. The first is simple sentence. The second is compound sentence. The third is complex sentence and also compound complex sentence. Simple sentence, a sentence must have a single clause. And the compound sentence is must more than one independent clause with no independent clauses. And next, complex sentence is has more than one clause, but of one there must be an independent clause and the others must be dependent clauses. Here the function of the sentence. First, declarative sentence. The second, imperative sentence. The third, interrogative sentence. And the last, exclamatory sentence. Declarative sentence is simply expresses an opinion or feelings, like make a statement or describes things in other words. Example, I want to be a good cricketer. And the second, imperative sentence, like make a request or to give a comment, like I need you to sit here now. And the third, interrogative sentence, like ask the question and the example, like do you know him. And the last, exclamatory sentence, like overflow of emotion. The example, like I cannot believe he would do that. And adverbially. And adverbial. An adverbial clause modifies the verb a sentence and act like an adverb. They always start within a subordinative clause conjunction, like I walk my dog until she gets tired. So that is all from me. If there is something that is less understandable because it still needs understanding and learning, if there is more, insyaallah. Saya ucapkan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu'alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah guys.